Welcome to Illustrator Lesson 8, and this lesson is all about creating basic shape illustrations, shape drawings. So many of us who are more artistically inclined, we like to get into the actual media and just start painting. So I might like to grab a brush and give it a stroke and give it a color and increase the size here a little bit and just start painting strokes down on the screen to create my illustrations. But what happens, as we explained in the vector and bitmap lesson in week 1, what happens is that as you start to paint and scribble things out and just, play with the tools, it can look really nice on the screen. But what's happening is you're adding so many anchor points in there that you're actually creating an image that's rather large in file size, and ultimately, if you keep going on this way, you can crash your computer. And so Illustrator is really made for doing the kind of drawing that is all about drawing shapes and building out your illustration with shapes that can hold increasing amounts of complexity. So I'm going to delete this green grass that I just drew, and I'm going to delete this last spot there. And we're just going to take a look at what shape drawing is all about. Shape drawing is about creating a basic shape and then modifying it so that it fits the object that you're trying to create. So when you look at the turtle, you have to ask yourself, what shapes do I see in the turtle? I see an oval right here, and I see an oval for the head, and I see some rectangles for the feet. I might see a triangle for the tail, and I might see some rectangles for the pattern in the shell. In the toes, since they're round, I could see little ovals in there. So all of shape drawing is beginning to train yourself to see shapes in objects. So to create something like this turtle, we would start out with an oval, and then you're going to modify the oval so that it it can have a straight line in it. And then, well, we'll just build it out. So I'm actually going to select this piece right here and take it out. We're going to work on creating a shape drawing. So I need my oval tool or my ellipse tool, and right now I have it set for a stroke and no fill. I'm going to make the stroke color just a little bit darker so that it's easier to see. And I'm going to make it a little bit wider so that it's easier to see. So if I work on my turtle's shell, I'm going to pull out an oval like this. And then if I work on the turtle's head, I might make another oval like this. And then if I think about the turtle's legs, I might make some rectangles. And if I want the legs the same size, there's no problem at all whatsoever. Or make it easy on yourself to copy and paste. So I'm going to select this object, and then I'm going to go to my keyboard commands, Control Copy, and then Control Paste to make my second leg so that my second leg is the same size. By the way, if you want to move these things around, you have to grab it. See, you have to grab it in the area where the color is showing. So that may have happened to you before, where you have a hollow object that doesn't have any fill and you're trying to move it. You have to move it actually where the color is on display. So I'm going to paste again to get another leg, and then the fourth leg, paste again, drag the fourth leg over here, And so now I have 4 legs, and I might just make another rectangle so that I can make the tail. So there's the tail. Alright, so how can I modify these shapes to create the turtle? Well, you know what? I just decided I might want to put a fill color in these. So I'm going to select all of these shapes and put a fill color in them of a light green. And now, to modify this particular shape, the circle, all I have to do is go in and add another anchor point and also take out some of the curves. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go to the Add Anchor Point Pen tool. And so that's a little pin that has a plus on it. All this is for is just adding anchor points, nothing else. So I'm going to move into my path where I might want to add this anchor point right there. And I'm going to add another one. Move into my path right here and add that anchor point. Now all of these anchor points have a curve associated with them. So if I go over here to my direct selection tool and select the anchor point and then take the curve off and make it a corner. Select this anchor point, take the curve off and make it a corner. Select this anchor point, take the curve off and make it a corner. And then this one I don't need. I don't need this anchor point at all. I could either just move it up and push it in line, or I can get rid of it as an anchor point and I'll get a straight line. Here's how I get rid of it. I move over to my Delete Anchor Point tool and just click it. And now I have a straight line. So I can create the same kind of shape over here. I can add an anchor point and add another anchor point, and then I can use my direct selection tool, and this time I think I'll try to select more than one anchor point at the same time. We'll see if I can get those 3. Then I turn those into a straight line, and now I can go in here and get this one and delete the anchor point and take it out. And now I have an ellipse with a straight line side. So all I have to do is go back here to my selection tool and move these shapes into position. So I'm going to put the head on, and then I'm going to also get ready for the legs now. If I want to go back in here to my direct selection tool, I can also select any of these anchor points and kind of modify the curves and play around with this a little bit. So it's more like the little turtle's head, just by pulling these anchor points around. So there we go. We've got the head, we've got the back shell, and then if I want to modify these legs a little bit, make them go from narrow to large, I can just click these top anchor points with my direct selection tool and use my arrow keys to move them in. Actually, it's a good idea to do that before. It would have been a good idea to do that before I copied and pasted all of these, so I wouldn't have to do these again. But I only have 2 more to do. And then I can take these objects and I can push them up under the turtle and put them into place. And so now I'm starting to build out my illustration. And I can take this one and make the tail. Just by pushing it around. And move it up here and put it into place. And now my little turtle has a tail. I'm going to make that tail a little shorter here. Okay, now the thing is, you see all of the outlines, and so how can we combine these shapes to make all one shape? It's very, very simple. It used to be a lot more difficult in Illustrator because you used to have to use a tool called the Pathfinder. But if you have Illustrator CS, I believe it's CS4 or higher. I think it's CS5 actually. CS5 or higher, you can select each of these shapes and you can combine them using this tool, which is called the Shape Builder tool. Now you have to have all the shapes selected first. So after they're selected, go into the Shape Builder and move over your first shape, and you'll see a selection mesh up here, a lot of little gray dots. Well, start by clicking down into that shape and pull it over, and you're going to combine these shapes. So the tail and the shell have been combined. Now I want to show you one other thing before I combine any more shapes. I'm going to deselect this, going into my selection arrow. I'm going to deselect it because I can actually put this leg underneath the tortoise shell by going to Object, Arrange, Send to Back. Now the tortoise shell is in front. I'll click this one. Object, Arrange, Send to Back. I'm not sure why I'm getting that, but we'll get rid of those problems in just a minute. I'm going to click this object. Object, Arrange, Send to Back. Object, Arrange, Send to Back. Now if I want this back leg to be in front just a little bit, I can go to Object, Arrange, Bring Forward. Not bring to front, but bring forward. That'll bring it up a level or two. So if it doesn't come up immediately, do it again until it actually works. Go to Bring Forward. You may have a few steps to go through before it's going to come on the top. There we go. Now it's on the top. So now the legs are pretty much where I want them. If I combine these areas, I can get rid of these extra black lines. So I'm going to go here to the Shape Builder tool. Oops, I have to select the turtle first. And then I go to the Shape Builder tool, and I'm going to pull this shape into this one. And they're merging those little shapes together. Pull this one over here. Pull it over here. Pull it over here. Whoops, gotta get it. And now they're all merging together, and I've got my little turtle shell. So that is basically how you create a simple shape drawing.